is December 1st. It is Wednesday of gun season, and I shot and missed this buck last night, and I was pretty down about it. It was the 17th mature buck that I've seen from stand, and this was the one deer that I really wanted to kill. He's number one on the hit list since last year. First shed that I found. Isaac had multiple encounters with him last year. We let him go. This was the deer I wanted to kill. All those encounters, and I missed him. And you know, at that point, you start to really regret not taking all the other deer that you shot.
I don't know. I didn't believe that I shot him.
Listen, this wasn't supposed to happen. I was supposed to shoot one of the other deers, not this one.
Trying to replicate my last 2 seasons seemed like an impossible task for me this year, as both years I was able to take my number one hit list buck. Both Traveler and Massey were bucks that only showed up for 1 season here at the farm. Going into this year, I had a completely different plan in mind. Dad's buck was unnamed and off the radar in 2019, but I still managed to save a few trail camera videos of him as he had a lot of potential. Even though he was only 3 years old, after I killed Massey, Dad's buck took over the farm and became the dominant deer. He was always challenging the other mature bucks on camera, and Isaac was able to have some great late season encounters with him from the stand. So, I love it when a plan works. I love it when a plan works. There's one of the twins. Right there. Not long after I found his first shed, Dad ended up finding the second, and the plan started to take some shape. First one, huh, Dad?
I think so. I might have found one when I was a kid, but nothing that big.
Now where both sheds were found is right in the heart of our farm. And the initial plan was to reduce pressure and keep him fed and happy. I decided not to redo the food plots this year in order to keep the pressure on the farm low. And it didn't take long for Dad's buck to show up on camera exactly where he left off last season. Early on, he was not on camera very consistently, and we were getting some concerning videos of him almost 2 miles away on a different farm of ours. But as midsummer rolled around, his core area shrank, and he was in a local bean field almost every single night. A big part of our summers became non-intrusive scouting. July 16th, and I'm just doing my weekly cam check. This bean field's been getting hammered right now by a bunch of mature deer. We've got a bunch of video good bucks out here, including Dad's buck. Utilizing video trail cams, cell cams, and a lot of road scouting, we're able to stay away from the deer's core areas during the summer months. It's become an almost nightly tradition to load up in the trucks and check the local bean fields in the summertime. This is a key time frame in the life cycle of a mature buck, but a lot of times it means nothing, as once summer feeding is over, a lot of mature deer will return back to their fall ranges. With Dad's buck, we could only hope and pray that his remained the same as the years prior. Watching these bucks almost daily made the anticipation for the upcoming season even greater. With some important upcoming life events, the hunt for Dad's buck was going to have to go on hold for a while.
That's sad.
It is sad. Just tied up in the yard. Kyle's in a bad mood.
I'm getting married in 24 hours, but we had to come make sure a couple of these stands for Sunday of opening weekend are ready to go, just in case we need to kill Dad's buck. Because he's been feeding out here for the last 3 months every single night.
On opening day of Ohio's deer season this year, me and Lindsay got married.
We grew up spending every waking moment in the outdoors. From a very young age, Caleb started carrying a video camera around with him so he could film all of our adventures. That brings me to Lindsay. What a saint she truly is. And look how gorgeous she looks this evening. Somehow she's put up with Caleb, gone for long hours at the fire station, our weekend hunting trips and fishing trips, or hanging tree stands and running trail cameras for Nick, Tyler, and Gore all year long.
A day after the wedding, we flew into Hawaii and spent a week exploring the island of Maui.
I haven't thrown up yet.
Even though hunting is my favorite pastime, there's some things in life that are far more important. After the week in Hawaii, we flew to California and spent another week out west exploring the national parks. Once back home to Ohio, we actually put Isaac in the driver's seat. Isaac was going to be spending most of November out west hunting elk and mule deer, so the first priority was getting him a buck here at the home farm. And he ended up killing the biggest buck of his life on October 19th.
Now he might make 108.
Yeah, he's all of 116 now.
112.
Listen,
120.
you killed a mature buck before you went out west again. That's all that matters.
You needed this.
You needed it bad. You needed it really,
So nervous
really
about that
bad.
shot. You didn't go-
I was 100%.
Yeah. No.
All right, pre-hunt interview real quick here in the shop. It's gonna be awesome. Buck that I would shoot on this side of the road, which is Dad's buck. That's the one I want to kill here. It's one we have a lot of history with. Last year he was all over this farm during the rut in late season.
guys, November 17th, afternoon hunt. It's 64 degrees, windy, hot, but it's the rut. We're grinding this thing out. I switched stands. I spent the last 2 days hunting what we call our far north stand. Had a lot of action, but just not the deer I wanted to kill. So I moved back to Isaac's stand right in the middle of the farm. And I'm really hoping Stanky Leg comes by today. We can wax him and party. One thing that we've always hung our hat on here at Siman Brothers Outdoors is our trail camera usage. The intel we've been able to gather over the years has been invaluable. And the random glimpses I was getting of Dad's buck kept my hopes alive that he may make an appearance soon. And there's also no doubt that some of these deer are going to make an appearance on SBO Live next season. I want to take a minute here to recap quickly. The last week of October, I had a whole bunch of really good hunts in a row. I saw good deer movement pretty much every evening, had multiple encounters with mature bucks, some borderline shooters. It was real good hunting. Then November rolled around. Alright guys, I've done a ton of interviews this year, and I always start with the weather conditions and the wind and the location and the date and what deer I'm hunting and all that bullshit. But today, fuck that. I could tell you that the wind is perfect, the conditions are perfect, and I'm hunting a perfect stand where my number 2 shooter was at this morning. I could tell you that, but I'm not. What I'm going to tell you is we had to leave for deer camp in West Virginia at like 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I'm really trying to fuck that up. I just want to party tonight. I just want to drink some beers and celebrate and party. Alright guys, it is November 26th, the day after Thanksgiving, and there's been a lot of developments. The number 2 buck that I was hunting for most of the year, Stanky, was killed by a neighbor a few days ago. Our neighbor Bob, he hadn't killed a buck since I think 2016, so it had been 5 or 6 years, so he definitely deserved a good one.
I was holding for a little bit.
After Bob killed Stanky, there was no question in my mind what deer I needed to kill. The problem was he had not been on our farm since October 13th. I had been getting occasional trail camera pictures of him in the neighbor's bean field, but there was no suitable hunting trees in the area he was using, and I didn't want to spook him by setting up a ground blind that late into the season. During the heart of the rut, he started making occasional daytime appearances in that same field. Sometimes your decisions are easy. My gosh. Just ripped. Scrape. And with gun season coming in, I knew I had to hunt the thickets closest to this location. Well, this is hunt number 4,952 for me. Alright guys, Tuesday evening of gun season here in Ohio. This is the spot I have the best opportunity at Dad's buck. On Tuesday night, Dad's buck ended up coming in with a group of does. But due to his location in the trees, I was unable to capture this encounter on video. I wanted to make sure that my shot was indeed a clean miss. So later that evening we went back out to the location and did a grid search, seeing if there was any blood in the area.
Just light the tree.
Straight through here. And barred owls, they do it all the time. They make all kinds of weird noises. Could be a squatch, I guess. It is Wednesday morning, December 1st, and we didn't take a lot of video last night. Bam, Dad's buck popped out. First time I've laid eyes on him the entire season. Squeezed off a shot, 100 to 125 yards through the timber. I missed. We went back, looked for blood, but I had missed. That previous evening, I had experienced some of the lowest of lows there is in deer hunting. All that work
and all those encounters with good deer, and when I got my opportunity, I had blown it. My mind kept going back to that late October evening when I let 2 very good mature shooter bucks walk through my food plot without ever picking up my bow. But that next morning, I decided to go right back into the heart of the woods and try after him again.
Alright guys, some craziness just went down. I was looking for Dad's buck after last night's shot, and he was chasing does. I got on my stand, I ran across him chasing like 10 does. And I took another shot and I hit him. We got blood, but he ran off towards Ethan, who's still on stand and has a bunch of deer around him. So I'm just gonna slow move that way. All right, tell him real quickly what you saw. 150 yards from the stand, I saw this big old deer just fall over. Oh, he's dead. Look through binoculars, his head's popping. I don't have phone service out here in Chatham. I'm from Japan. And I tried calling Kale and nothing happened. Then he gets up and takes off. I bumped him. Sprint. It was my fault. I bumped him.
Not full sprint, but he took off.
I mean, the blood trail is immaculate. It's immaculate the whole way. We know exactly where he went. And our property goes for a while, but we're going to leave him, I think, for a little bit. Because we don't want to bump around with all the other gun hunters around. Oh, boy.
Got any ties or anything?
It's going to be a day. Like something out of a dream. Like something out of a dream.
Gun season story for sure, right?
Yeah. Yes and no. It's too early to start drinking beer?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you want the quick rundown?
Let's hear it.
I got out of my stand about 8:30, somewhere around there, because I wanted to check for blood from yesterday, because I shot at Dad's buck yesterday up back there. And we went back, I searched for blood that night, we went back after dark with lights, and then went back this morning to look. Did a big mosey, nothing. Got down into our swamp, it's like on the edge of Possum Run in our swamp, and a couple does busted out, like 60 yards, and they just kind of bounded off. So I just stood there, and I waited about a minute, and I heard some more ch-ch-ch, and then he just came up over the hill, staring me right in the face. I couldn't, it was like a movie. He just came over the hill, staring me in the face, but he went down with those does, so I took a big run up on the flat, thinking that they busted me. And I get to the edge of the ravine, big valley with a deep creek through it, and he's chasing about 8 does and grunting and jumping into the creek and jumping out and chasing these does at like 60 yards, and they don't even know I'm there. They're not even looking at me. He's chasing these does in a circle. And I'm trying, I made at him to try to get him to stop. He didn't. He's walking around. He started chasing the doe back up towards our property and got to the exact spot, I'm telling you, to the inch, where Traveler died. There's still a beer can in the tree where Traveler died. He was standing in the same exact spot, broadside, 100 yards. Deer scattered everywhere. Couldn't tell anything. Just like last night. Deer went in every direction. I got downstairs, searched around. First I found nothing. I found a little bit of blood. Panicked, looked around quick, and then you could see a trail in the leaves, like a paint can, the entire way to Ethan's stand.
Guns are different. Slow motion guns are different.
They don't, I know, they don't cut and tear and rip.
They don't create a shockwave. It's like a bow, but with a slug. High power rifle, you get that shockwave effect where they drop instantly.
That's where I was already. Obviously, I wish I would have got the shot on film, but like, look at that.
Yeah.
Come here, Isaac. That's a stumble. That's stumbling, and that's
Yeah.
splattering of blood, right?
I mean, we know. You had to hit him good.
Like, look at that.
Even if you hit him back, you hit the artery.
The only thing I'm worried about is a Tyler 2.0.
Face shot.
Yeah. But he was broadside. It's not possible, you know what I mean?
nutshell. I still have a sneaking suspicion that he's been bedding right here and right here this whole entire time. That's honestly my suspicion. These moments with friends and family in the field are the ones I end up remembering the most. Although I can't admit that these touch-and-go track jobs are a lot more fun when you're not the shooter. This is where you have to be. Even though the track job ended up being a lot longer than we anticipated, we knew by the amount of blood loss that Dad's buck was going to be found at the end of it.
It's Dad's buck, dude.
Thank you.
I owe you.
Oh God.
Years in a row. He's still alive.
Yeah.
You got a knife, Isaac?
To a T.
No, he's
To a T.
To a T.
G2 to a T.
I told him we're never doing this again. We haven't flipped him over yet, so I don't even know where the first shot was.
Well, his legs were.
Yep. Well, we were following blood the entire time. Good blood. It was a mess. It was a mess.
Well, here we are. It's December 1st. It is Wednesday of gun season. And I shot and missed this buck last night. And I was pretty down about it. It was the 17th mature buck that I've seen from stand. And this was the one deer that I really wanted to kill. He's #1 on the hit list since last year. First shed that I found. Isaac had multiple encounters with him last year. We let him go. This was the deer I wanted to kill. All those encounters, and I missed him. I woke up this morning and just got right back in the saddle. I went right back to the same stand I missed him out of, and I hunted till about 8:30. I went to look for more blood, and as I was doing that, I thought I had bumped up some does, but what had actually happened was he was chasing does deeper into our property, and I watched him for a couple minutes chase does around in this valley, and then I waited for a shot, and we still don't know where I shot him, but I think I hit him in the low brisket front, and he was bleeding like crazy. Ethan watched him lay down, head bob, get up. We definitely bumped him once while tracking after I bumped him once, and at the end of the day, here we are. And Dad's buck is down. I got the sheds back at the house that I'm gonna have to go get to compare him from last year, but he's the one I wanted to kill. And I've killed my #1 now 3 years in a row. And pretty proud of that. That's not easy to do around here. And guess we're gonna have to find another buck to hunt next year.
But there's been some really good bucks killed in this block this year. The buck he ran with all year, Stanky, was killed, and we have a couple more that we're hunting, and it's just been a great year for deer hunting. And I'm glad Ethan was home to be able to experience this, because he's been in Japan for the last 4 years. But it's been a great day.
Like the whole time, I'm like, what's happening? Yeah.
Literally what's happening. That thick shit.
We did.
Yeah.
We heard it too.
Because I ran around that thick shit. I was just waiting.
Twos and his threes are nice. We'll get an inch out of split. I don't think he won't score as much as Stanky, which is weird.
137.
Which is weird because all summer he was so much bigger. He was so much bigger than Stanky all summer. Very consistent. Ironically enough, Dad's buck ended up making a giant circle around and ended up dying right next to the field where we had watched him all summer long. The more we do this kind of thing, the more we cherish these days in the field. Having Ethan home from Japan was more than just the cherry on top for this track job.
That one looks like it's going to be pretty good.